Good morning.
Good
How are you?
morning.
Morning.
How's everybody doing?
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Ms. Rivera. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right, you all having a great day enjoying the sunshine outside?
Not yet. We have too much to do.
I
Not
see the
really.
sun. I see the sun beaming on your face, Miss Martinez.
I know I love it to do it and be outside, honest, but I have too much to do and learn. You know, I feeling in my goal is to learn more and more. Like I didn't have a time during the school year to go to the trainings, I suppose, you know. My goal today is learning here and try to share with my kids because it's so hard. You know, this is not easy. Honest, I told you. In our community, you know, we don't have the kids, they don't have the device. So how we can do it? So you working without any product because the people they can do only until if they have iPhone or whatever, it's hard. You know, it's really hard.
Excuse me.
We make it.
We all understand. I think everybody's giving a thumbs up to that. We're all working it out together.
Yes, that is the best we can do. Work together and let go.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I am steady letting people in, and I do want to be conscientious of your time and respect that. So I'm going to give them about 30 more seconds, and then we will begin working in our Flipgrid. So thank you all for being here and being vulnerable to open your mind up to something new. That's really awesome. So kudos to you for being here and tackling Flipgrid. I think you're really going to love it. It'll be a really great tool to add to your arsenal of things for your classroom and for your colleagues. So I'm always a proponent of paying it forward. So as you gain information about Flipgrid and all that it offers you, and you're so excited about it, then I'm hoping that you'll spread the love and find someone that you would like to introduce Flipgrid to them as well. So that's how we all continue to grow and learn together. The digital learning team on the chat, there is a comment about, I just joined Flipgrid and teach middle school. How can I collect consent forms online?
And consent's automatically given when the students enroll in our district. Parents have to opt out, so you don't have to worry about consent forms. On Flipgrid, when you find this, your students, you can give them the option to do the video or maybe put an emoji over their face if they're not comfortable showing their face. And I'm sure that Miss Mabian will go over that as she teaches you Flipgrid.
So basically when your students get the handbook and parents do, they sign their lives over to us to trust that we have their best interests. So we are doing collectively all that we can to respect their privacy, as well as make sure that we have opportunities for them to continue learning. So that's why we're all here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started with our okay, yeah. Miss Cook also said you automatically give consent. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with our Flipgrid presentation. I'm going to share my screen so that we can get directly into it. And here we go.
Erica, can you record this if you're not already?
Yes, I am recording. Thank you.
Thank you.
So if anyone did not make it into our presentation, I will have it available as well if they are contacting the digital learning team, or you can contact me directly. The first page offers my contact information. So, and there's also a bit.ly if you want to take a picture of the bit.ly. That will give you a way to provide details at the end of the presentation if you need further assistance, have questions, comments, concerns. You're able to put that into that bit.ly, and one of the digital learning team or one of the tech champions will contact you for further assistance with this tool. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So the meeting norms that I wanted to establish when we are working together today, please use the chat feature so that you can type your questions in there. That way we can review them, and everyone can see what you are interested in putting on the table. I also want to ask you to mute yourself if you have not already. That way, just in case you have any background noise or anything that should come up, a barking dog or a crying baby or the trash truck, any of those things, that we will not be distracted from what's going on in your personal space. If you're ready to talk, then you may push the space bar. It kind of acts like a walkie-talkie, so you're able to say what you want to say as you're pressing the space bar, and then you release the space bar and it goes back to mute. So I want to add that to your arsenal of tools. I also want to let you know that I'll stop frequently to ask for questions, but please interject. Don't feel uncomfortable about asking your question as we go along. I don't want you to lose that thought or lose what it is that you're wanting to find out. And lastly, there is going to be a link in my contact information throughout the presentation. So you'll also have an opportunity, if you didn't catch it at the first slide, you'll be able to write down that link and fill out the Google form for us to contact you at a later time. All right, the purpose of Flipgrid. We use Flipgrid as a way to give students a voice. We want to be able to connect to their expressions of whatever they have to, how they want to respond to our lesson. We can really vividly hear what they're thinking and explain concepts. I was just talking to one of the math interventionists, and I was explaining that if you had a story problem or a math problem and you posed that to them, you could really get a clear picture of how they were processing the equation, because you could have them explain the steps and explain the concept that you were initiating through that. So it allows the teachers also within, especially what we're doing now, virtual, you could pose out a question and have them respond individually. And they also can see each other's responses and respond back to them. This feature is available. You can review the responses prior to letting students have it on the grid, so you can have it blocked. And then as you look at the responses, find that they're appropriate, you can release them, or you can allow them to be on there and then you can peruse them at the same time. I find that the students will talk within their grid much more easily than they do maybe so in classroom, where they're a little bit more embarrassed. All right, so the objectives that we want to cover today is so that teachers and students can provide feedback in a timely manner that's less intimidating. The entire class can participate, and the teachers can use this technology resource kind of like a flipped learning capacity. So you can introduce your topic and maybe provide background knowledge for them before you actually go into the instruction. So they kind of get a preview. Likewise, you can use it as an exit, and they can give you feedback based on the lesson that you've given them, and so that you can verify that they have a clear understanding of what you've provided for your instruction. All right, the procedure. How do we do Flipgrid? And again, that bit.ly is down there. If you are needing support or you think that you will, make sure you capture that bit.ly throughout the presentation so that you can get what you need. All right, I've separated out how to do Flipgrid into 5 easy steps. So you can give yourself a high five once you complete all of these tasks and you'll be ready to do your Flipgrid. So the first step, you're signing in or signing up. I think all of us are going to be signing up for a new account. So once you get in there and you sign up, you'll be signing into your account thereafter. You want to always use your Google credentials for signing up for your account or signing in, and encourage your students to do so thereafter. That way all of their login information is totally synced. Step 2, you're going to create your grid. I want to let you know that I am a specials teacher. I teach iSpark, and I also teach middle school. So I teach K through 8. So my grid will encompass having things that are particular to grade level or topic, or maybe a subject or theme that I have within my building, since I teach all of those grade levels. If you are a gen ed classroom teacher, then you may want to set your grid up based on your ELA or your math content areas, or also by topic. So you have the flexibility and you have the options of how you would like to have your grid be created. After you decide on how you want your grid, and totally you can always go back and change things. I actually went back and changed some things today. You are able to start your discussion. So your discussion will start with whatever topic you create on your grid. The next step is sharing it to your LMS, whether you use Google Classroom, Seesaw, whatever. If you're emailing your students, if you're, however you're sending the information to them, you're able to share your grid and the information that you have just by copying the link. I also have an option of copying the link for people that are not in KC Public Schools, say it's a parent, or within KC Public Schools, say it's an administrator. I can share my grid with them and say, hey, this is what's going on our grid. This is the great thing that your student did, if it's a parent, and you can just share the grid information and they do not have to sign up for an account or be a part of an account. And step 5 is after your students have responded to your grid, then you get to go back in there and look at their videos, and you provide feedback and comments, and you can also open the floor up for other students to reply to each other. So 5 easy steps, and we're going to go through them really quickly. Does anybody have any questions so far? I do not see anything in the chat, so we're going to keep on going. All right, getting started, signing up for your account. You're going to use, these are the choices, the Microsoft login and the Google login. We are going to choose Google. Someone is having recess in the background. Okay, creating your grid and your topic. This is where you get to start, and you can have as many grids as you would like. So there's not a limit to the amount of grids, and that's basically the topics that you want to have. You're going to name your grid by clicking the red Add New Grid. When you go in, you will set yours up by giving your grid a name. This could be the topic, so it could be your curriculum area. It could be, for my class, I just have it'd be whoever I'm teaching at that time. I want all of the students that are going to join this grid to sign in with their school email address, and that's going to, while we're going to use our Google credentials. So you want to have them sign in through that. Then you're ready to add your discussion. So in advance, you will look at the lesson that you have created and how you want your students to respond. I cross collaborate with our ELA teacher, our librarian, and our social studies teacher. And right now our students are doing Harlem Renaissance. And so based on that, the ELA teacher has them writing a paper. The social studies teacher has them going through the, yes, I can share this on our Google Classroom page. Someone's asking if I can share this on Google Classroom. Yes, you can share your grid contents on Google Classroom so that your students will be able to respond to your discussion. Another question. Yes, you can share your grid to Google Classroom. I will show you that section also when we get to that part of the presentation. It gives you the options of how you share. Yes, Andrea.
I was just saying, I'll answer your questions in the chat. You can just keep going.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
You can change your grid. You don't, everything that you have that you set up as you go along, you are able to go back in there and change it, and it will just update it and have it in there. So you're able to, it's not set in stone. Everything can go back however you want. So this is an example of my grid, the lesson that I was talking about, the Harlem Renaissance. So these are 3 of the topics that I have for middle school. When you first create your grid, all of your students will get an introduction at the very beginning of the lesson to go over how to do Flipgrid and how to make responses. So that's automatically a feature that they give to you. I always go through it with them in class, so my kids didn't have a response to the introduction, so that was something that they already had, but this is the view of the topics that you have in your grid. All right, so when I was talking about creating your topic, this is the page that you're going to use to create your topic. You're going to put in your topic title. You're going to put in any detailed instructions or questions that you want them to put in. You also have a recording time. How much time do you want your students to have to talk in the grid? Do you want them to fully elaborate for as long as you like? I believe it's up to 5 minutes, so you can set it for the amount of time. Some students, you want to give them a longer amount of time or a shorter amount of time, and you get to choose that by indicating the recording time, and you're able to select for that for what you want it to be. You are also able to create a recorded instruction. I do am conscientious of that. Most of the instructions that we've had from the district are asking us to record a video, a topical video with our lessons. So this is where you can start doing that. So if you have 15-minute math lesson that you want to give them, you can create that in here, and then you have a 15-minute ELA lesson. You can create that in here and have those separated out so that it does give you your 45 minutes. If you would like to upload a video, say you found something on YouTube or you have a previous lesson, you can do that. If you have images that you would like to upload with that, you can. Any of these tools that they have at the bottom, you're able to upload. And the kids like to have emojis. So if you have something like that, they would love to see your emoji. So once you fill out all of these sections, then you're able to click create your topic. So once you click create your topic, it is posted on your board. And again, you're able to go back and make changes. Now you're ready to send out your grid. You are able to access it this way. So this is my topic my Harlem Renaissance that I given them, and I just asked, why is the Harlem Renaissance culturally significant? And because they already wrote a paper for their ELA teacher, they did research for the librarian, for the social studies teacher, they had gone through the lesson. I was fairly confident that I didn't have to give them a lot of detail regarding how to respond. So on this page, it has the title of my topic, Harlem Renaissance. It tells me when I posted it. This is the flip code. I'm able to just copy that and put it on my Google Classroom. I can give the guest code, that would be a parent or an administrator or someone that, or another teacher that I wanted to show them this is our topic. But I also have the option of clicking the share with the rocket ship. Once I click the share with the rocket ship, these are my options. So it tells me that my topic, again, share the topic with students. I can copy the code, I can embed the code, and there is my Google Classroom link. So once you click the Google Classroom link, it will ask you what class you want to assign it to. And I'm going to go through that more specifically, but I'm going to go through the steps first, and then I'm going to go to my grid so that you can see it in real time. And again, there is that guest topic code that you can share with anyone that is outside of your grid that does not have to sign up with an account. So you have multiple ways of sharing your grid, and again, it is fully integrated with Google Classroom. If you're using Seesaw, then you would copy the code and apply it to your Seesaw page. So this is the part where I share my grid, and you're going to be able to see how I organize my grid and organize my content. When you sign in, here's that page to tell you to use your Google login. And there's where you use your KCMSD. Just preparing our experience. And here is my grids. So on this home screen, you have your my activities and then my grids. I have 9 grids currently. And as you can see, I have a 5th grade grid. I have an anti-bullying campaign that we worked on. I have a middle school and elementary school. This is my MS coding. It is my elective for my my middle school class, and then I have some others. So these are all the different grids that I have created. And this particular middle school one that's highlighted, it tells me that I had 3 topics in here, and 3 students have elected to answer videos thus far. And this is where I can click that share button and share out. And there are the options there. I'll click Google Classroom. And it integrates straight to my Google Classroom page, and it will ask me which class do I want to give it to. And I'm able to select the class that goes to. I'm going to select this one. And then it tells me how do I want to give it to them. And I'm just going to ask them a question, and I'm going to say, did you complete your Flipgrid assignment? And then they will be able to tell me yes or no. Over here, in our Google Classroom, you're able to select multiple classes. So say I want to give this to my entire middle school class, I'm able to select as many classes as I would like to have this integrated, and then it will go to all of the students that I want it to go to. So for me, that's a easier option since I have multiple classes. And then I just click the ask button so that it will go to their assignment within Google Classroom. So you can use multiple grids for multiple class. You can use the same grid for multiple classes, and then you can have them respond to it and see it. In the wake of not having school, I have a grid posted so that they can all see each other and say hi and what are you doing and what's going on with you, and because we're missing that FaceTime that they have. Also on the grid page, I want to draw your attention to the edit grid section. And this is where I said you could go in and change any of the content of how you had it before, of the name of the grid. You are able to change that. And there's other features down below. Do you want to get notifications when they go into the grid and they are answering? Do you want to apply captions to it? This is where you can upload any pictures or cover pages if you want to put in your school design, as I have put in our logo for our school. So you're able to do that also. And they have some other options that you can put in for your background. And then once you click update, then it saves all of your changes that you've made. Within your grid, say I have my 5th grade grid and I want to add my classroom teachers to my grid because I'm just a specials teacher, I can add my regular classroom teachers as co-pilots by clicking the little airplane here. But my teachers will need a Flipgrid account. So they will need to already have an account, and it will check for that by cross-referencing their email accounts. So it's a good way to collaborate with other teachers and other exceptionalities within having just one grid, and being able to do that as a process. So I'm going to go back to my slides so that we can proceed with the presentation a little bit. You can do a series of emails to your 5th graders. You can copy that link that they give you for your grid, and if you have an email account or set up for them with just the 5th graders, then you're able to put that in there, put the link in for just your 5th graders to do that grid. So you can narrow that down to just the one grade level or just the one class. Someone had asked that in the chat. Any more questions so far? Questions, comments, concerns? You guys are doing a good job of using the chat, and thank you, Andrea, for answering questions during the chat.
Yeah, Erica, I have a question.
Yes.
I've used Flipgrid a little bit in my classroom, and I noticed that the kids could see all of each other's responses, and that became a little bit of a problem sometimes. Is there a way to turn that off so I'm the only one to be able to see once they've turned it?
You can see their responses and then approve them first. The platform is set up so that students have the privilege of seeing each other's responses. That's a cultural thing that I really had to zone in on, and that we are establishing a way that we can communicate in a healthy manner within each other. And one of the ELA teachers that I had collaborated with and learned from, she used it as a way for students to gather their ideas before they wrote writing assignments. So if she had a topic, they could brainstorm within there. And she found that them listening to each other's opinions and thoughts gave them an opportunity to grow their own thinking and ideas. So it wasn't really punitive that they looked at or were able to see each other's thoughts. It was kind of like a springboard. And so I think the culture of having that set up, that we are looking at each other's posts, we are making healthy conversations and healthy comments, is something that we really, it's not just within Flipgrid, but you know, in the classroom, text messaging, and just really good digital citizenship. So I really want to encourage teachers and parents to have that as an option, that it is something that we're going to grow with as people, because we, you know, we really need to up that ante of being able to be respectful for each other. For SPED, I think it's a good opportunity to demonstrate. I talk with a lot of my SPED teachers during the course of going virtual, and they really liked the option of demonstrating the lesson and demonstrating what the outcomes should be and how students responded, because they had really relied on having that as a way that they did instruction in their typical classroom. So they wanted to be able to provide that as a model for parents and students, since we were doing virtual, and have an opportunity for students to respond. Easy. Yes, I've taught K through 8, and all of my kindergartners, as you know, on up, they love being able to use this. They click a button that is play and record, it's red, and they're able to see that as a, I like that Flipgrid has those prompts that is the same every time. And when we get to the record, it will show you what that looks like. But I'm also, if you fill out the bit.ly, I have a digital resource that I will send out to you. It's like a virtual poster, and it goes through the steps for students to respond, so that you can send that to them, and they will know, parents will know also how to get in here and navigate through doing Flipgrid. And there's also a video tutorial that I have available to you as well. So step 5, responding to students and giving them feedback. So I'm going to show you, this is what it looks like when students respond. So these students have responded to one of my posts. And as you can see, it shows you how many students have watched it and when did they watch it and things of that nature. So it gives you all the stats regarding the views. And here is one of my students responding to our grid.
I believe the Harlem Renaissance was significant because it was a turning point in Black history. It helped many colored African American writers and artists.
Okay, I'm going to pause it. At the bottom, it allows you to use closed captions. So SPED teachers, all teachers, closed captions are a great tool to have. So you can change that setting and make it available for you and your students. So I encourage you to use the closed captions options. So this would be what it would be like to look at your students when they respond to the grid. And when I opened up his response, I'm able to see a menu of options. I can just push play on here. I had it open to a new menu for you all. But this is where I can give video feedback. So I can record a response back to him by making a short video that will go to him. I also can choose the comments, which is the green speech bubble, and I can type in comments back to him or use the box that they have there. I also can give him a grade based on if I have a rubric that I provided for them and telling them the parameters of their responses and what I'm looking for. You can also give them a performance grade just automatically in here. You can do their feedback privately by emailing them, and you can have this as be a copy feedback link. So these are all options there, and it gives you the flip code if you're needing to respond to that too. Yes, they're able to do some fun changes to their backgrounds as well. Here is your edit version and your share version that it's listed here. And there's a star where you can highlight this particular student, the fire button, and the tape button is below. The tape button, in the olden days, we had cassette tapes. And on our cassette tapes, we always could have an option of doing a mixtape. A mixtape for us was when we compiled our favorite songs and made a tape. Maybe we recorded it off the radio. I know that's a long time ago for us, but we had all our favorite songs. If you have a student that has said something phenomenal that you want other students to listen to, then you're able to choose this mixtape option, and I'm going to show you that page later, but that is what this section is for mixtapes. That's what that means. In the olden days, yes. All right, so we're going to continue on. Questions so far?
What was the copy feedback link? When would you use that, or where does that go if you click that button?
Let me open that page up so that I can show you that specifically. Let me go back. Okay, so here are my students, and I'm going to go back a topic so that I can go to that one and that one specifically. So we did an anti-bullying campaign. So if I choose this student's grid, and I'm going to push pause so we don't have to look at it. So I can type in my feedback. This was awesome. And once I type in that feedback, I can copy the link to it. And if I want to share it to her on her Google Classroom or Seesaw, then that way she could get a notification. Or if I wanted to put it on one of those platforms, I can say, I wrote you some feedback on your Flipgrid, please go and watch it. And then that would be where the copy feedback would, we could select it to go there. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Uh-huh. Any more questions about this feedback page now that I'm on here? Okay, we're going to proceed on. All right, these are your bonus options in Flipgrid. So bonus meaning that you could go through those 5 steps, you could function in your Flipgrid and everything would be great. These other options are your bonus options. Things that are great tools that Flipgrid has incorporated and make what we would want to do within Flipgrid, just up the ante, and it's a few extra options. Okay, within Flipgrid, I was going over the mixtape option. So under mixtapes, you click that little icon, which is the cassette tape. And like I said before, if a student responds and gives an outstanding Flipgrid response, you can highlight them and have a page where you are showcasing particular students and some of the great work that they have. So if you have some exemplary responses, this will be a good place to put it so that students can have an idea of what their responses would look and sound like. So this would be where you would do mixed tapes. And there's a tab for that within our grid, Flipgrid page, and I'm gonna go back to that and show you that and the duration. The second bonus is something called Grid Pals. This would be great for right now while we are on virtual, or if you are not and you are in your typical classroom. On Grid Pals, it allows you to connect with a fellow Flipgrid educator. And it could be something like, I've used it for Book Pals. So when I taught kindergarten, I could talk to a 5th grade class and they could read a story to my kindergartner and be able to have an opportunity to make a friend virtually. I've used it to talk to professionals that were able to do maybe book talks or things like that, and I could share. Students can connect with other classrooms, and you do that based on having connections with other educators that are signed up on Flipgrid. So you put in your criteria that you want to connect, and you're able to see what the options are of people that they have available for you to make those connections with. This is a great way of having the old-fashioned pen pals, which you put in a stamp. The next bonus item is the disco library. Say you want to give your students topics and you just really want to practice what that's going to look like. You are able to go to the community library in the disco and pull out a topic that you want your students to respond to. They have curated a bunch of things right now from in the learning from home section, and that has lots of tools from other teachers and Flipgrid that they've deemed to be great activities that we could start to incorporate. So you could pull something out of there that applies to what you're wanting your students to learn. They also have Epic books, so that's always a great thing. Epic has books online that you could have them read and respond to. The Met and Wonderpolis and my good friends from code.org. So they would be able to integrate their code.org computer programming with responding on a Flipgrid. So I would implore you to go through the library and see what options are available and utilizing some of those tools so that you can post them to your students as practice. All things that are listed in the Disco library are things that are that you can edit. So everything that you would give to your students, you have the freedom of editing it before you give it to them and making it be personal and complementary to what you have established in your class.
Hey,
Yes.
hey, Erica, will there be a chance to go ahead and create one? All right, did I break up? Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
I can hear you now.
Can they get a chance to log in and give it a try?
Yes, we're going to do that.
Okay.
I have,
Erica,
yes.
on that disco library, are those basically like Flipgrids other people have made that you can go in and use but change how you need it to be?
Absolutely. Teachers pay teachers, but free. The second one is shorts. The shorts allows you to just create a short video that you want your kids to do. And these are options that are available that are videos that other people have made. It's not very personal because it doesn't come directly from you, but it definitely is a option for students to use and for them to answer if that's something that you want to use as an option. So these are already curated videos that other teachers have done. Your last bonus is something really important. I saved this for last because, again, we can do a screencast. So this is a new feature that they've just added in the light of virtual learning, like just prior to. And this is also great. So you could do your whole lesson, go in there and record everything that you are doing, basically like we're doing now with the PowerPoint presentation, and you're able to fully integrate what you're wanting to do for your lesson, for your slideshow, your websites, and record your screen and do it within your Flipgrid. So this is an amazing tool that they had added, and so you could get your 45 minutes in just the same way. So within that, you could go back and create your lesson and go through your lesson, and it all be recorded as a screencast. So that is a really amazing option that they had available for you to utilize. So in order to get to that, you're going to, again, create your topic. And then you're going to go into this page where the topics are listed and add your details. And after you add your details, you're going to click this record button. And once you click the record button, it gives you the choices here. And I did this yesterday so you guys could see it. And on the screen below my chin, these are options that they have available. If you want to do filters, if you want to add a text box on your screen while you're talking, happy faces, backgrounds. If you want to put any of those in there while you are talking, these are the filters. I think someone had asked about that before. You can add these to your recording while you are doing it. So these are things that you have available and students have available while they're recording. So you're going to click on the 3 dots here next to the record camera button, and that's going to give you the options for your screencast. And there on this top section, it says it's going to record your desktop or your browser tab. And that'll be what options that you have in order to start your screencast. And once you select that box, you're ready to start recording. So here is the bit.ly. Once again, I'm going to go back to my Flipgrid page, and I'm going to go through and show you how to play around with that. If you have the options of split screen, or you would like to tackle getting into your Flipgrid at this time, this is a good chance to start working in that and setting up your account and playing around with it. I'm going to stay here for your time to play around in your Flipgrid and answer any questions that you have. And you also can put your questions or comments in the bit.ly, and I can get back to you privately, or someone within the digital learning team also can get back to you regarding your specific needs if you didn't want to voice them on this this online platform. I'm going to leave that up for a few more minutes. Do we have anybody that have a specific thing that they wanted me to go back to directly? Oh, QR codes. Someone's asking about the QR codes. The QR codes are going to be, it's a square. I'll go back to it. It's a square that students are able to scan and get into your Flipgrid. So if they have a cell phone, they're able to use the camera function and scan, and it will automatically direct them to your Flipgrid. More questions on the, all right. I'm going to exit out of here so that we can get to Flipgrid, and I'm going to go back to my page. All right, so after you sign in, your sections here, My Grids is at the top, and these were where I created the different areas that I wanted students to respond in. So there's my Grid Pal sections down at the bottom that I reached out to a couple of teachers, and we did some topics with other students. So my students had to do speeches, so I had them record their speeches, and they were able to send it out to some Grid Pals and other schools, and kind of teach them what they were, their topic, and they actually voted. So we had a little competition using this Grid Pals, and the students did their speeches. I sent the grid out to our whole school, and the school was able to vote on who did the best speech. So that was how I did this particular Grid Pals activity, not with someone outside of my district. I actually did it within my building of using the Grid Pals. You're welcome. All right, so I'm going to go back to my grids again, and again, set up your grids how you want to by your topic. You can add as many as you like. You can go in there and delete them. If you don't want that grid anymore, you're able to delete it. You're able to set it up however you want to. I recommend using school email because that is how our students are accustomed to signing in with their Gmail account. So I want to try to keep it consistent with them. Next, the mixtapes. I haven't created any mixtapes, but this is the section where you would add that. So you would just tell it mixtape, give it a title, and describe what it is, and then you're able to add your students, highlight your students within there. Because I teach so many different classes, I just didn't find it to be appropriate for me to utilize. Your grid pals, this is where you can go to connect with other educators. So you have options. Hidden, educators cannot view my profile, or active, have them be able to research you. So if you have it hidden, then you're able to search the 21,000 other people that are in your section. You're able to look up their grade level or their specialty. And this is where I said that I was able to find other professionals because I could choose organization or corporate. And I was able to find professionals that could talk to my class about their what they do every day. You're able to choose subjects, and they have special ed subjects also. They have our American Sign Language. They have tons of subjects that you could choose from. Or you can look at the map that is listed here, and I'm going to back the map up. And as you can see, all of the pluses are ways that we can see how many people are within our area. So if you know you want to talk to someone that is in a certain state, you can do that. One of the times when I did something like this, we reached out to another state and we kind of gave them a mystery of where we are, and that's when our state won. The Royals went to the World Series, and so that was one of our clues, is our baseball team went to World Series. So as you can see, you can get very specific in seeing where there are other people within your state or not within your state. So they will give you suggestions at the bottom, and then you can choose who you would like to connect with based on the criteria that they've given. So you can connect with another special education class that's in high school. You can connect with a math class. So that makes it pretty easy. The Disco Library. Learning from home, that's a popular topic right now. So once I click learning from home, these are all of the options that they have for learning from home. There are tons. And as I scroll down here, as I said, code.org was one. If you are wanting to integrate that, vocabulary, they usually have you pay. And so that's where it's nice that some of the paid versions are free. Wonderpolis is listed here. The MSN Kids, virtual field trips, going to museums are listed here. And there's our friends from Epic. That's also one that's listed as an option. And again, you can just narrow down your search, and you can pick your particulars by picking your grade level, your subject, and then it will give you options there. So there is a book talk that I'm just going to choose that I want to use. I'm going to say I want to add this book talk to my elementary scholars. They may use their phone for this as well. There is an app for Flipgrid that I downloaded to my cell phone, and I was able to go in there and navigate very easily. So I'm going to give this topic to my elementary scholars. I'm looking here at the notes to make sure that it's really what I want it to be. I clicked voice so that I could see what the details were within the instructions, if I want to change those or if I like what they put. So I think I like the way that it is. So I'm going to add that to my grid, and I'm going to tell them how long I'm going to give them to talk. Oh, they give you 10 minutes. I don't think that I want to listen to a response for 10 minutes from a scholar, but you could have them talk up to 10 minutes and as minimal as 30 seconds. So 30 seconds, 20 seconds, you can set how long you want them to talk. So I want them to talk for just a minute. And then you give them the instructions. So these are the instructions that are already listed, but again, I can go in there and I can change it to be whatever I want it to be. I can add a focus area or delete what she has in here. If I have another attachment, I could add another attachment. Maybe you have a Google Doc you want them to type on. You can have that in there also, and then you can give instructions on how you want to do that. To hide the videos from students. So you can hide them from students until you approve them by this section here. And that lets you moderate what is in there. You also can moderate whether they can respond to each other. So if I want to make sure that I approve them, I'm going to make that green. If I don't want them to talk to each other, I'm going to turn that off. So I think someone was asking before about the safety or the concern of having them respond to each other. You can turn that off. So they could look at them, but they would not be able to do that unless you turn that on. Making it active or hidden or waiting. If you had a time frame that you wanted to schedule it, then you could tell them, you could set it up when you wanted to schedule it. So if you're lesson planning, you know you want to give it to them on a certain date and you don't want them to start before then, you're able to do that. And there are other functions down here. You can allow them to give them likes and also down for feedback. So once you're ready, you click update topic. And your topic is now assigned to your students. After you click how you want it to go to them also, it's going to go on your grid automatically, but you could click share and give them that link and put it in Google Classroom, or you could copy the link and put it in an email. And this is the section where you have the QR code. So this here is your QR code if you have another way that you're wanting to send it to them. You are able to download it, or you can copy it by just right clicking. When you right click, it'll ask you how you want to save the image, and you have that as a choice also. So there are multiple ways that you could assign this book talk to your classroom. Again, here is that add topic guest. So if you wanted to send it to someone that is not in your assigned class, then you're able to send it to them this way. So far, do we have questions about adding things from your Grid Pals or your Disco library? Okay, the last thing that we had was shorts. If you want to create a quick video, maybe you want to say hello to your students and give them some encouragement over this virtual learning, this is a good place to create a short video where you can share it with everyone. If you'd like to tweet it out, if you'd like to put it on your class Facebook page, or something like that, or if you'd like to send it to your colleagues and let them know all about the great things that Flipgrid offers, then you're able to create a short video here. If you're feeling that this was a lot of information, what I would suggest to you is to open up your Flipgrid, go back and set up your account, and then just make a decision on whether you want to use something from the Disco library or if you want to do your own. And at that point, you are free to reach out to me. I can go through it one-on-one with you and go through how you would like to set it up. and go through the process of doing it with you, or you could watch the recorded video. You could come back at 1:30, which we will have a second session, or you could reach out to a tech champion, and all of them will be happy to work with you with Flipgrid. So you have options. Don't feel overwhelmed. This is a really great tool, and just like with our students, we don't expect for you to run out and be experts on this. We will walk with you and help you implement it to the best of efficiency as we possibly can. I'm going to put up my information again so that you can fill out that as an option for feedback. It does ask you, what questions do you need, what support do you need, and so that we can curate a list of people that we need to follow up with. But this has been our Flipgrid presentation, and I'm hoping that you will dive into Flipgrid. It's super fun. It's a really great tool, and I think you will love it and the students will love it. And our students need to see our faces, and we need to see theirs. It's good for all of our mental health. So thank you so much for joining our Flipgrid section. Again, reach out. Don't be an island, and we are all here for you. You guys have an amazing day.
Thank you. You
Thank
too.
you, Erica.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.